Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show, The Development Door from the Social Sciences Department. And in this show, basically, we will talk about some psychological disorders that nowadays everyone is dealing with. And for that, I would like to thank our Sir Dr. Muzaffar Ali, who has given us the opportunity to come here to talk about this issue and to spread awareness about it. For that, I have invited three of my beautiful, gorgeous friends who have come here to talk about these issues and give you guys even more detail about these issues. For that, I have Rabi Zera, Ushna Sohail, and Sumaya Shah. So, the two topics that we will focus on and talk about are panic disorders and specific phobias. These are going to be the main gist and the main important topics that we will talk about. And over here, we will discuss the reasons behind it, what they basically are, what can we do to deal with them, and the techniques and strategies of their treatment and everything. So, if you guys would like to give me an overview, a brief overview about what these disorders and phobias are and what basically they are.
Yeah, of course. Hello. I'll be telling you about panic disorders, panic attacks, and specific phobias. And when a person gets these panic attacks, these attacks escalate rapidly within minutes. The physical symptoms of these disorders include heart palpitations, sweating, dizziness, chest pain, nausea, and even feelings of losing control or dying. People with panic disorders often avoid situations where they might have a future attack. For example, if a person has a panic attack in a shopping mall, so in the future they might avoid going to similar crowded places. Now, people often confuse panic attacks as having panic disorders. That is not the case. People with panic attacks have panic attacks in which they have these episodes of panic attacks, but they come without warning, but they're usually provoked by fearful situations or situations in which they feel vulnerable. For example, if a person might get a panic attack if they have to speak in public. For example, if a student has to speak in front of an audience, so then they might get panic attacks and they might feel dizziness, nausea, and rapid heart beating. Specific phobias, on the other hand, are phobias in which people have intense, irrational fears of an object or situation, and these fears are disproportionate to the actual amount of danger of that situation or object. There's a lot of phobias, for example, agoraphobia, in which a person fears going outside. There's acrophobia, the fear of heights, and then there's aviophobia, the fear of flying. For instance, if a person has the fear of flying, aviophobia, then they'll go to great lengths to avoid traveling in airplanes. Even if they have to travel for work or go to family events, if it's really important, they'll still avoid going in airplanes because they're that afraid.
Thank you so much, Sumaya, for giving us such a wonderful insight about the disorder and the phobias. But nowadays, I feel like people really don't give importance to these things, and they don't really consider it something, like they're just like, okay, like we're just having it. But so now, after knowing the phobias, I think it's very important to know what are the causes behind it, because people are usually having these phobias and disorders and they really don't know, okay, what are the causes and why are we having it. So if you guys would like to give a brief overview that what are the causes behind it or something like that.
Okay, so hello. I'd like to talk about the causes. So there are three major causes: biological causes, psychological causes, and environmental causes. So biological causes consist of two categories. That is, one is inheritant. That is, when a parent has a specific phobia or panic disorder, it's a higher chance that the child would also inherit this phobia. Then there is neurobiological cause. That is, there is a region in the brain, amygdala, that is responsible for regulating emotions and thoughts. So when the amygdala becomes overactive, and it is associated with feelings of panic and anxiety. So this overactiveness of the amygdala causes people to have this panic disorder. Then there is psychological causes. Psychological causes is the cause that is associated when a person has catastrophic thinking. For example, they would perceive normal life events as life-threatening as well. For like in a real life example, a person that has a specific phobia of spiders would want to evacuate the room, and they would feel like that they're having an heart attack, and in reality they wouldn't be having a heart attack, they would just have an increased heart rate, and that heart rate would cause them to have a panic disorder. The environmental causes are life triggers and certain life events, traumatic events that has caused the person to develop this kind of phobias. For example, if a person that has faced death of a loved one, there is a higher chance that this person would develop a specific phobia or a panic disorder because their brain has stimulated these emotions.
Okay, thank you so much once again, Ushna, for giving us such a good overview about what the causes really are, because I think it is very important for everyone, especially the audience that are watching us, to know okay, what are the causes and how can they actually go through and actually suffer from these disorders and phobias. So after knowing the causes, now that we have known what the disorders and they actually are, now that we have actually known the disorders and the phobias, and we have also known the causes behind them, I think it is very important for us to know what the treatments are and how can we cope up with them, because obviously for a normal life and for everything, I think treatment is very important.
Sure, I would like to talk about the coping strategies, जिसमें काफ़ी सारी आ जाती हैं हमारे पास. उसमें नंबर 1 we have ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक्स. उसमें जैसे बचपन से हम लोग ये सुनते आ रहे हैं कि लाइक जब कोई परेशानी आए तो स्टार्ट ब्रीदिंग, गहरी गहरी सांस लेनी चाहिए, एंड दैट लाइक एक्चुअली हेल्प्स. अनदर वन दैट वी हैव इज़ जर्नलिंग, एंड उसमें ये होता है कि लाइक वट एवर वी आर एंक्शस अबाउट, कोई भी हमारी लाइक वरी है, कोई भी हमारी लाइक फीलिंग्स हैं, थॉट्स हैं जो हमें परेशान कर रही हैं, तो वी कैन लाइक जस्ट लाइक पिक अप अ पेन एंड हैव अ पेपर एंड लाइक जस्ट राइट इट ऑल डाउन. तो दैट हेल्प्स अ लॉट एज वेल. और जो लाइक हर किसी को पता है, मेडिटेशन एंड एक्सरसाइजेज दैट हेल्प एज वेल, बिकॉज लाइक बॉडी आपकी सही होगी तो माइंड आपका सही होगा. तो काफ़ी सारी हैं, उनमें से चंद ही हैं.
Okay.
I would also like to add upon the treatment options that are available for such disorders. So there are majorly two very famous treatment options. One is the cognitive behavior therapy, that is abbreviated as CBT, and then there are medications. So when we talk about medications, SSRIs, okay, these are the medications that increase the serotonin level in the body. So they work by increasing the serotonin level, and serotonin is a hormone that is associated with feelings of comfort, feeling of happiness. So they automatically decrease the anxiety levels and the panic levels in your body. And but some of these medications are quite addictive, so they should not be taken for a in the long run. And I would like to add that about the CBT, the cognitive behavior therapy, it works by having such coping mechanisms, like it makes the person have positive thinking, it helps the person evaluate such negative thoughts, irrational thoughts, and the one major part of CBT is desensitizing. So how does desensitizing work? It works by exposure therapy. So a person is gradually exposed to the stimuli that is causing them to have a panic attack or a specific phobia. For example, if a person has a phobia of the planes, so they might start off by thinking about planes. Okay, that is in the first step. In the next step, they would watch short videos of aeroplanes, and in third step, they might take some flights. In this way, the person will become desensitized to the specific phobias and to their fears and irrational thoughts, and it would help the person.
Okay, thank you so much, Rabi and Ushna, for giving us such good treatments, which I think are very important as well. And nowadays I even feel like that journaling has become a part of an everyday, like a routine. But आप जिसको देखो तो journaling कर रहा होता है सुबह में, even though they're not really aware, I don't think they're aware of the fact that it really helps them. And also meditation and ये वो. And I feel like people should know that this actually helps them, and the audience should be aware of it. Okay, so now I feel like हमने बहुत अच्छी खासी बात कर ली है about the issues and the treatments and causes. But now let's come to the point, the point that everyone loves, Pakistan. So Pakistan के बारे में मतलब क्या ख्याल है? I think Pakistan में there are so many people going through all of these issues, and awareness though I feel like there isn't any much awareness about anything. So what do you guys think? Like, is this awareness really important nowadays with what especially the upcoming generation, looking at them? Do you think like people should really be aware of it, like culturally, like how people perceive it? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. I think कि पाकिस्तान में बहुत stigmatized किया गया है. Mental health issues, I mean, if anyone, especially youngsters these days, they're very aware about this stuff. But if you look at our parents and our grandparents and everything, they're not very aware about this. And उनकी सोच ये है कि if a person has any mental health issue, be it depression, mostly depression, or anxiety disorders or anything of the sort, they'll think that it's just all in their head, or they're weak, or they're failures, or they can't do anything right. They're really looked down upon, and they really think that, I mean, sorry for my language, but they think it's bakwas and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that there should be some awareness about this. I mean, Pakistan is a very backward state, so इसीलिए यहाँ की सोच ऐसी बहुत है that these issues are just not that important and stuff. But just because of that, awareness is important, because people do need help and they should seek that help.
Yeah, I'd also like to add that since Maya also mentioned that Pakistan is a backward country, and this is why these issues are stigmatized in our country, and the people are reluctant to seek professional help. And इस वजह से वो क्या करते हैं, especially in the earlier generations, like our grandparents, हमारे parents, they don't seek professional help. Instead they go to traditional healers or religious practitioners and उनसे मदद मांगने की कोशिश करते हैं. For example, ये तो हमने सुना ही होगा कि instead of going to a psychologist, people are going to पीर बाबा और इस तरह की चीज़ों में वो जाते हैं, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि उससे उनकी मदद हो जाएगी. But this is not the way to go about it. Definitely लोगों को चाहिए कि वो साइकोलॉजिस्ट को रुजू करें एंड दे सीक प्रोफेशनल हेल्प, बिकॉज द थिंग इज कि दिस इज़ नॉट जस्ट इन द हेड. ठीक है, दिस इज़ हाउ आवर न्यूरोबायोलॉजी वर्क्स, दिस इज़ हाउ these are actually caused by certain triggers and certain factors, और जब तक वो चीज़ें एड्रेस नहीं होंगी we cannot address the issue entirely. So पाकिस्तान को देखते हुए I think as a country we should definitely work on this.
Definitely, I definitely agree with you. आजकल तो पता नहीं कौन कौन से लोग जो है वो they're like कि बस हम ये वो I don't know what that thing is called, you guys know. जैसे कि I mean nowadays as you guys can see कि जो है ना लोग पहली फुर्सत पे तो जाए, even if they want a son or they're going through anything, मन्नत मांग के पता नहीं चप्पल उतार के किसी दरबार पे चले जाते हैं कि and whenever like even if we talk about psychological help or therapy, तो they're like कि नहीं हम तो there's this stigma कि हम तो पागल हैं, हम ये नहीं है वो नहीं है. So I feel like it's very important और ये awareness भी बहुत होनी चाहिए. So is there anything else that you guys would like to add to it or anything?
No, I guess that's all.
Okay. So thank you so much, Rabi, Ushna and Sumaya, for coming here, for giving us your time. I am very, very grateful to you all three for coming here, giving us such a wonderful insight about what this issue is and how important it is. I think the audience must be aware now that how important this is, and to actually look into it. So I think we will put an end to this podcast now, and I would really, really want the audience to listen to it and give us your feedback, or your feedback would mean the most to us. So for feedback, to write the feedback, you can email us on feedback@zfm.org, and we would love to hear what you guys actually think about, and what you guys think about this whole conversation and what happened, and if you actually think that these disorders are actually real and they need to be taken care of, and about what you think that the upcoming generation is going to deal with and everything. So thank you so much. Allah Hafiz, and we will meet again.